Dear students, I extend a warm welcome to all who are watching this video. So I am going to post a series of videos for the subject engineering mechanics. So today we are going to deal with the basics of engineering mechanics. What is engineering mechanics? What are the types of engineering mechanics available? And further on. Engineering mechanics is a branch of science that deals with study of behavior of bodies under rest or in motion under the action of forces. The engineering mechanics subject is divided into broadly two major categories: mechanics of rigid bodies and mechanics of deformable bodies. So in mechanics of rigid bodies, it is considered as the deformations are very small and they are neglected. Whereas in deformable bodies, the deformations are large and are considered for the analysis. So this is a separate subject and it is named as strength of materials. Rigid bodies, we are going to study the behavior of the bodies under the action of forces, but we consider the deformation due to the action of forces are very small and they are neglected. So this mechanics of rigid bodies is again categorized into two: statics and dynamics. In statics, the behavior of bodies under the action of forces are studied when the bodies are at rest. When the bodies are at rest, the behavior of bodies is studied under the action of forces. In dynamics, we study the behavior of bodies under the action of forces when the bodies are in motion. This dynamics is further categorized into kinematics and kinetics. In kinematics, we are going to study the behavior of bodies under motion without considering the forces that causes motion. We are going to analyze the behavior of bodies under the action of forces, but without considering the forces that causes the body to move. Whereas in kinetics, we are going to study the behavior of bodies under motion with considering the forces that causes motion. So in motion, we are going to study the relationship between displacement, velocity, time, etc., for acceleration, etc. But in kinematics, we are going to study these relationships without considering the forces that causes this motion. Whereas in kinetics, we are going to study the relationship with the forces that causes the. Going into the details about engineering mechanics, first we should know the fundamentals. So we are going to see three fundamental topics: matter, body and particle. So what is a matter? A physical substance that occupies space and possesses mass is known as matter. A physical substance that occupies space and possesses mass is known as matter. You consider a bowl of water. So it is called as a matter because it is a physical substance. It exists in liquid form. So it is a physical substance. It occupies space and it has some certain mass. So that is why it is called as a matter. Then what is a body? A definite portion of a matter is called as a body. So I am having a solid of 2 kg mass. So now this is a definite portion of a solid which has a mass of 2 kg. It occupies space and possesses mass. So it is a matter, but it has a 2 kg mass. So it is a definite portion of a matter. That is why it is called as a body. So this body is further classified into two: rigid bodies and deformable bodies. As already I have explained, rigid bodies are bodies which will not deform under the action of forces. The bodies which do not deform under the action of forces is called as rigid bodies. Whereas bodies which deform under the action of forces are called deformable bodies. In nature, all the bodies are deformable. But for our analysis and simplicity of study, we assume that the bodies are rigid and we are going to study the subject. So deformable bodies, studying the deformable bodies is a separate subject that is called as strength of materials, which we will not be discussing here. So here we are going to focus only on rigid bodies where the bodies will not deform under the action of forces, or we can say that the deformations are very small and can be neglected. The third one is particle. So what do you mean by a particle? An infinitesimal portion of a matter. What do you mean by infinitesimal portion? Infinitesimal means very small. That is called as infinitesimal. So a very small portion of matter is called particle. A very small portion of matter is called as particle. So particle will be of topics what we have learned now. A matter, body and particle. So what is a matter? A physical substance that occupies space and possesses mass is known as matter. So a matter will be nothing but a substance which occupies space and has mass. And if it's a definite portion, then it is called as a body. For example, if we say it's a 2 kg solid, then it is called as a body. A very small portion of a matter is called particle, which is called as infinitesimal. So this particle will be of negligible size. A body can be categorized into two. One is rigid, another one is deformable. Rigid bodies will not deform under the action of forces, whereas deformable bodies, by the name itself, it will be deforming under the action of forces. Meant by mass and what is meant by weight. Already we have seen what is a matter. Now a quantity of matter contained in a body is called as a mass. A quantity of matter contained in a body is called a mass. Suppose there is a huge matter present, out of which if you are taking a 2 kg mass, then that is called as a body. So that quantity of matter, that 2 kg is called as mass. So the quantity of matter contained in a body is called as mass. Then what do you mean by weight? Weight is nothing but the force with which body is attracted towards the center of the earth. The force with which body is attracted towards the center of earth is called as weight. So weight is nothing but it is given by the relationship mass into acceleration due to gravity. You all know that all bodies are attracted towards the center of the earth by the acceleration due to gravity. So a weight is a force with which a body is attracted towards the center of the earth. So weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. And the mass always remains constant. It will not vary from place to place. Whether you are here in earth, or if you go to moon, or if you go to any other planet, the mass is going to remain the same. It is going to remain constant. Whereas the weight will be varying from place to place. Here the weight may be different. Whereas when you go to moon, your weight will be different. That's why, since there is no gravity, you are floating on the moon. So mass is nothing but a quantity of matter contained in a body. Weight is nothing but the force with which body is attracted towards the center of the earth. And mass and weight are related by the equation weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. It is governed by three fundamental laws which are known as laws of mechanics. So there are three laws, as I have told. The first law, the first law, so it states that a body remains at state of rest or in uniform motion unless it is acted upon by an external force. A body continues in its state of rest or in uniform motion unless or otherwise it is acted upon by an external force. So if there is a body which is at rest, it will remain at rest. If a body is in motion, it will remain in motion. Unless if an external force acts on the body continues in its state of rest or in uniform motion. This is called as first law of mechanics. The second one is second law. So second law establishes a relationship between force and acceleration. A body, if it is acted upon by a force, the acceleration of the body will be directly proportional to the force acting on the body. The acceleration of a body will be directly proportional to the force acting on the body. So force is directly proportional to acceleration. If the proportionality is removed, a constant is incorporated. So force is equal to mass into acceleration. So the second law establishes a relationship between force and acceleration. This is the third law of mechanics. It states that if two bodies are exerting forces on each other, then the magnitude of the forces will be the same but will be acting in the opposite direction. So to again repeat, if two bodies are exerting forces on each other, then the magnitude of the forces acting on the two bodies will be the same, whereas the direction will be opposite to each other. In simple way, we can say that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So these are the three laws, fundamental laws, which governs the study of the rigid body mechanics. So I will again summarize these three laws. The first law states that a body continues in its state of rest or uniform motion unless it is acted upon by an external force. The second law establishes a relationship between force and acceleration. A force acting on a body is directly proportional to the acceleration, and if the proportionality is removed, then force is equal to mass into acceleration. The third law states that if two bodies are exerting forces on each other, then the magnitude of the forces acting on the bodies will be same, but the direction will be opposite to each other. Or we can say every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So today we have seen the following topics. So what is engineering mechanics? It is a branch of science that deals with behavior of bodies either at state of rest or in uniform motion. Engineering mechanics is broadly categorized into two: mechanics of rigid bodies, mechanics of deformable bodies. In rigid bodies, the behavior of bodies are studied under the action of forces, but the deformations due to the action of forces are very small and they are neglected. Whereas in deformable bodies, the deformations are large and they are considered for the study of the behavior of the bodies. So here we are going to focus only on mechanics of rigid bodies, which are further classified as statics and dynamics. Statics deals with the study of behavior of bodies under rest, whereas dynamics deals with study of behavior of bodies under motion. So this dynamics is further categorized into two. One is kinematics, another one is kinetics. In kinetics, we study the behavior of bodies under motion without considering the forces that causes motion. Whereas in kinetics, we study the behavior of bodies under motion with considering the forces that causes motion. Then we have seen certain basic concepts of mechanics. One is matter, another one is body, third one is particle. So matter is the one which occupies space and has known mass. A definite quantity of matter is called as a body. A particle is a very small portion of a body. Then we have seen the difference between mass and weight. So mass and weight are governed by the relation weight is equal to mass into acceleration. Then we have studied about the three laws of mechanics: first law, second law and third law. So today with this we are going to end this video. In the subsequent videos we will be studying another topics related to engineering mechanics. I thank all of you for watching this video. I would like to ask the students to like, subscribe and post your comments to this video. Thank you.